Sup, y'all? It's me. It's your boy Asmongold, and welcome to This Week in Warcraft. Now, this time around, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and one of the big reasons for that is because this week has been 9 days long. I do apologize that this video has taken a couple of extra days to get out, but the truth of the matter is that I've had really bad sleeping trouble for the past month or so, and it got to the point where I was just completely delirious and I felt like shit, so I'm trying to reset my schedule to the point where I'm going to bed at 8 a.m. instead of going to bed at 11 a.m. So I do apologize for that, guys, but we're just going to go ahead and talk about everything that's happened between now and the last video. So that's going to be in the past 9 days. And we're going to be starting off with something that just happened today, which is Blizzard is bringing esports into PvE in the form of the Mythic Plus invitational. 8 teams from each different region. There's going to be 4 different regions: the US realms, the China realms, the Asia Pacific realms, and then also the EU realms are going to be chosen based on their highest clear times between the days of July 25th and August 8th in the, I think what they're calling, proving grounds for the best clear times of any Mythic Plus group to compete in a tournament that's going to ultimately reward $100,000 in prizes. So I think this is an amazing thing that's happening. I'm happy about this. I'm pretty sure everybody's happy about this. I just think it's good in general that Blizzard is supporting more competitive play and creating more events for the community. And it is a relatively small prize pool, especially whenever you count into like dividing it between all the number of teams and the amount of players and then taxes and everything. But ultimately, it's very good that players are able to do something in PvE that actually gets them some money for what they do, because whenever you really think about it, there's nothing in PvE that you can really make any money off of in real life. So I'm not saying that's something that should happen, and we'll actually talk about people making money through PvE in real life in a minute here, but at the same time, I think that Blizzard creating a tournament for that will engage a lot of people, and it will be a positive thing. I remember whenever Blizzard did the live raid back at BlizzCon, and then also Athene, I think, did some like charity run where like a bunch of guilds tried to speed clear Dragon Soul. All that stuff was hype as fuck. So I'd love to see that come back. The only negative that I can see with this is that, of course, right now, I wish they might have done this like a couple months down the line. That way people's gear would be a little bit more equalized. At this point in time, there are some people that are pushing like 940 or 935 item level equipped. If they've gotten really lucky on Titan Forges and their gear is their guild has fed them a lot of gear from like Mythic ToS. And I feel like the gap between those players of relatively the same skill is a lot larger now than it would be later on, whenever everybody's able to kind of catch up and the RNG differences are less, I guess like less emphasized because more time has gone on, so luck has a little bit more equalized itself. So it is definitely, that kind of sucks, and so I hope that they're able to create a fair and competitive atmosphere. While the chances are that people, like somebody having like a Titan Forge trinket isn't really going to win them or lose them the race or the tournament, it's something that it definitely kind of diminishes the competitive aspect. And I feel like whenever you're playing in a competitive tournament, especially something like with video games where you have armor and gear and weapons and stuff, everybody should start off in the exact same point whenever you're actually playing for money and it's a legitimate tournament. So I hope they find a solution for that, especially whenever they get into the top echelons of like, semifinals and then the finals. But we'll see what's going to happen. That's just kind of my own personal opinion, though. Anyway, going over, I just wanted to wrap that up and say this is awesome. I'm very glad about that. Regardless of if it could be a little bit better in one regard or another, I'm glad they're doing it regardless, and I'm just happy. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is a kind of a pretty well-known streamer got banned in the guild limit, and this was on top of a number of other bans that happened on that same guild limit. Whenever they did get banned, they're pulling out of the Mythic ToS race, and they've just gotten banned over and over and over through doing different things that are against the ToS in different shades of gray. Some things very much against ToS, like selling things for real money, and then some things not as much against the ToS, like trying to transfer accounts over from the Battle.net account. Obviously, everything is against the ToS, but some things are more, I would say, arguably harmful for the game than others, like selling paid carries for real money. So one person did get banned, and that kind of created a big deal. I made a little, I guess, like statement or post about it on Twitter. I guess I can kind of give you guys my TLDR right now. I don't want to talk about it too much, but generally there are a lot of guilds that do participate in these real money sales and account sharing stuff, and they even account share to get different world first kills on the different bosses. And you've seen this be the case many tiers before this and this one as well. And it's always very disappointing that players feel like they have to resort to breaking the rules to gain a competitive advantage, and it's even more sad that Blizzard allows them to do it. So what I really kind of ended what I said on Twitter is that I hope this is the first of many and not the first and only, because there are a lot of people that do get banned, and it's fair, but I think Blizzard, especially whenever you're looking at like, very, very high echelon stuff, whenever one guild is banned and then another one isn't banned, and there's a perception of favoritism, that doesn't make anybody feel good, and it definitely loses the respect of the community. Whenever the rules are applied fairly, you can disagree with them and you can not like them, but ultimately you can at least say that they're fair. But whenever it seems like they're not being applied fairly and only some people are getting banned and not everybody is getting banned for doing the same thing, then you're going to have a lot of people become very frustrated. Now, there's of course a lot of evidence for many other guilds participating in the exact same stuff. So I hope Blizzard does take that into consideration and does hopefully deal with those other guilds in a similar way. So unfortunately, Limit did have to withdraw from the race. They were the top US guild, and now I guess that defaults down to easy. So shout out to I have a couple of friends in there, Incarnate, and I think that's basically the main guy, another guy I do RBGs with. So that's awesome. I'm really glad about that, and that's pretty much all I have to say about that. It's just disappointing that people cheat, and Blizzard should ban cheaters. There's also like kind of a problem. There's a lot of like very, very high-end raiders that act like they're a necessity for the game. Like Blizzard needs to have them in the game, and this is something that they have to do. If all the top-end guilds quit tomorrow, nothing would change. It doesn't matter. There would just be new top-end guilds. The Blizzard doesn't owe high-end raiders anything. They don't have any special privileges, and they don't deserve any either. They're just playing the game a lot, and they're very good players. It doesn't mean that they get to just circumvent the rules. And so I think Blizzard should apply the rules fairly to everybody and not just some people. So I would consider this hopefully a good start, but if this is where it ends, it does contain its own problems. Another thing that happened that caused a little bit of trouble is actually on the official forums. Now, this is something that I've talked about before, is that Blizzard removed the ability to downvote posts on the official forums. So I consider this a positive change, personally. The reason for that is because whenever you're downvoting something, there's a lot of different reasons why people downvote something. They downvote it because, there's a bad argument being made. There's a lot of like mispronunciations or some sort of like racism or something in it. And what the downvote feature was not really created for, and the intention was not for people to just downvote things that they disagreed with. And what you saw a lot of times happening on the official forums is that people would have a well-written post that was just kind of against the general consensus. I guess that's a little bit redundant, but against the consensus of players, and I guess I don't really like to use this word, but against the hive mind. And so that person would be immediately downvoted regardless of the way that they presented their argument. And people that presented the more popular opinion, even if that was not presented in a positive way or a productive or constructive way, it was still upvoted just because it agreed with the general population. And I feel like that was not really conducive to constructive discussion. And also, it just doesn't really help people, and it makes it to where people that do disagree with that consensus are afraid to speak out, because even though downvotes and everything doesn't matter, nobody wants to just make a post and then have it buried, because that's effectively what you're able to do. If a post received enough downvotes, it would become buried, and whenever something was buried, then you'd actually have to click a button in order to see it. So it actually gave the community a way to literally silence and suppress the voices of people that they disagreed with, which I don't really think is a positive thing at all. There are a lot of people that think LFR and being able to randomly loot legendaries from a boar is the greatest thing ever, and I completely disagree with them. I think it's terrible, but at the same time, I don't really think that person should be downvoted, assuming that they're able to give proper rationale. And I think it stifled constructive conversations. So hopefully they do. This does kind of make things go in the right direction, I hope. But we'll see what happens. I think the official forums were probably one of the most toxic places to have any sort of a discussion outside of like MMO Champion, like YouTube, I guess. YouTube's pretty bad too. Or like, r/wow. Like the general forums were really bad. So hopefully they're able to kind of, I guess, like, clean up on a little bit of that toxicity. But anyway, going off of the kind of community stuff, Black Temple Timewalking happened today, which was actually really, really fun. I had a chance to do it. The bosses, some of the bosses I think got a little bit nerfed. Illidan was much harder than he was on a PTR, at least from my perspective, which I think is a good thing. Illidan's like the last boss. I mean, you want to be able to see the demon within phase. You want everything to play out. I mean, that's where all the lore is coming from, even from this expansion. So it's really great that they did. I feel like they lengthened the fight a little bit, so you're able to see the demon within phase. You're able to go through all the different stuff. And I would say the Black Temple Timewalking was a huge success. I really enjoyed it. Everybody that I did it with enjoyed it. People enjoyed watching it. Positive all around. Now all we need is time walking on Oldor, so let's hope that happens soon, or ICC. I would love to see that, and I'd love to see the time walking raid feature be expanded for each different time walking weekend, so that would be great. There were some guilds as well, going back into the Mythic ToS race, there were some guilds as well who did kill Mythic Avatar. There were a number of nerfs that happened on Mythic Avatar. Method killed it first, Exorcist killed it second, and Alpha, which is a Chinese guild, killed it third, and they did it on stream, which was really, really cool. And so if you want to see that, of course, you can just, I don't actually really know where you can go and look. I think that person's name starts with a V, but of course you can just Google it, and so you can actually see what the fight looks like. It's absolutely insane. So, and if you think that's hard, like you go, and then you do that fight, right? And then you do Kill Jaden Mythic, not you, like, I mean, not me either, but they go and do Kill Jaden Mythic, and you got like balls going around. There's all kinds of shit. It's like one of those games that you go and you play, and it's like there's like your little spaceship, and there's like just balls that are covering the screen everywhere, and if you get hit by one, you're dead. And it's just like one of those games, and it's absolutely incredible. A lot of the top guilds have actually complained that Kill Jaden timing is a little bit off because it's just way too hard. Guilds are going goblin so they can avoid the knockback that the spheres do. The Rupturing Singularities do. So it's an incredibly punishing, incredibly difficult fight. And I believe that it took the guild Alpha 800, I don't know if I remember this right, 842 wipes in order to kill Mythic Avatar. So, I mean, whenever you compare that to a lot of the other fights in history, I mean, that's up there with, Mythic Mythic Ragnaros, Heroic Spine of Deathwing, even more than Mythic Archimond. So, very, very difficult fight. I would expect to see a lot of nerfs in the near future, hopefully before my guild gets to it, because it seems incredibly hard. So, that was really cool to see. On top of that, this kind of comes from an odd direction, but the appear offline feature, the one that Blizzard promised like 4 years ago, that might actually be coming sooner than later through Hearthstone. So there have been some things that I believe were data mined or discovered through Hearthstone to where we might be getting an appear offline function in BattleNet. So I would consider that a very positive thing. I would like to see that. Of course, people can always message you, like your character name dash with your realm. But at the same time, I would like to see an appear offline function. I would consider that definitely a positive thing. On top of that, there were a lot of changes to Feral Druids. They did a lot of really good changes. I would say probably the best change that they could make from my perspective is just deleting them, because I hate Feral Druids. But for the people that do like them, I'm sure they might be happy, or maybe they're not. Either way, they made a lot of changes to Feral Druids. I hate playing them. I hate looking at them. I hate fighting against them. I hate everything about them, so I don't really know what the changes are, but apparently they're pretty big. Also, if you need 860 gear, Levantis is up for your world boss this week. Oh boy. So, that's the news. That's what happened. Now for me, I didn't really do a whole lot this week, I'll be completely honest. I did a couple of things that culminated after literally fucking years of working. I completed 10,000 daily quests this week. 10,000. That's a lot. So I completed 10,000 daily quests. I got Prestige 13, so I got a new magic horse, the Azure Courser. We completed Black Temple today, as I said before. That was awesome. I also got a shitty legendary, and my guild is 5 of 9 mythic. So I would consider this week to be a relatively productive week, and just good overall. I've only got one legendary left for my arms weapon, or my arms spec, so I know it's going to be the helmet. It was between the helmet and the legs. The legs just complete trash, and I got the legs. But that's the way it goes sometimes. You win some, you lose some. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I've got for today. So I'd, of course, like to hear what you guys did this week. And I had a pretty good week. Hopefully you guys did too. Make sure to go in there and do Black Temple. If you complete it and you have a character with the Warglaives, then you can transmog the Warglaives, the legendary Warglaives, on a Demon Hunter. So if you want to take advantage of that, go ahead and do it now. It's going to be up for a week. And that's pretty much all I've got. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do, again, apologize that it's a couple of days late. But again, as I said before, I don't want to get into it again. Hopefully we'll have the next episode out on next Monday, and we'll just go from there. It might be Tuesday, depending on how much stuff happens. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. And like, comment, and subscribe.